Hello guys, Dan here from Dan's Tech, and today's video guys I'm going to be bringing you a review of the Sharkoon C10 computer case. Now this guys is a mini ITX case and it's relatively new and yeah, a case that Sharkoon have recently released. And now let's kind of have to send it through, so yeah, today I'm going to be bringing you guys a full review and yeah, I'm going to show you what this case is like and kind of, what accessories you get inside the box. To start, let's begin with the unboxing experience. Sharkoon have packaged this case in a double-walled cardboard box and covered the case's front and back sides with some soft foam. Even though the case is quite light at 3.0 kilograms exactly, this is very nice to see. Now moving on to the exterior of the case, we can see that the case is quite small at 37 by 22.5 by 18 centimeters. Starting off with the front panel, one thing that does stand out is the yellow power button that is on the top left corner of the case. This does look striking and is a little bit different, and to be honest, I like it. This is also a light up yellow once you turn on your PC and put a few volts through the case's PCB. Now there's no reset button in sight, but to be honest, I can't remember the last time I actually used the reset button on my own PC, so no complaints by myself there. At the bottom of the case we see the Shark Zone branding, where also you'll find a yellow LED just behind the plastic which shows the hard drive or SSD activity. In addition to this, on the front of the case we found a slot that can accommodate an ODD or optical disk drive if you guys actually still use them things. However, this will limit storage options and will mean you will only be able to install either 2 SSDs or 1 hard drive and 1 SSD while an optical drive is installed in the machine. Now on both sides of the case, left and right, we have vents for airflow which both have dust filters to protect the components from dust, no pun intended. On the left side of the case we find 2 USB 3.0 ports as well as 2 audio ports for headphones and microphones. Now onto the back of the case we have the cutout for the motherboard, 2 expansion slots, well 2 slots for expansion shall I say, a power inlet, more on that a little bit later, and also a place to mount a 80mm fan if needed for more airflow. The bottom of the case also has ventilation and also includes glued on dust filters like the rest of the case does. All the dust filters can be somewhat removed on this case, however I would just recommend just unscrewing all the side panels and rather blowing through them or getting a vacuum cleaner to suck up the dust. Just like the bottom of the case, the top has ventilation too with dust filters and really does show that Sharkoon really do want your PC to breathe and to intake as little dust as possible while doing so. These dust filters aren't as fine as most dust filters but will give you more air intake versus the ones that a little bit more finer. Now inside on top we have a pre-installed 120mm slimline fan which can be found on a lot of Sharkoon's smaller form factor cases. This fan does spin pretty slow, so it's perfect for you guys like myself where you like silence. However, you might want to buy and install another fan up top to increase the airflow. No other fans are included in this case, however a fan can be mounted at the back as mentioned, and you can also install a 120mm fan up top next to the pre-installed one. Now the already installed 120mm fan is installed at the top back of the case, so is in its best position by default and will move the hot air away from your CPU and RAM area on your motherboard as it's positioned as an outtake. However, this can be changed easily if required. Moving on, all side panels can be unscrewed, so this is top, bottom, left and right, and gives access to the case. Now I really like that all panels can be removed with large thumb screws and will make building a PC very nice in this case. Now as you can open up the case, you will find a resealable bag with all the kind of accessories in. These include a door hanger, an instruction manual, 2 cable ties, a motherboard speaker, nice to see that, mounting hardware for hard drives or SSDs, and also you'll find 4 soft rubber feet for the case. And finally, yes, a bag of screws, all different screws and washers and all that kind of jazz. Now next up, the case has front panel cables as well, and yeah, these are all kind of tied together. Now these include a 19-pin USB 3.0 header with a 2.0 header attached just in case you don't have a motherboard that supports USB 3. And yeah, you also find a HD audio header for 2 front audio ports. Now onto the smaller connectors, you will have the SSD LED indicator, a separate plus and minus for the power LED connectors, and finally the power switch header, of course, to turn your PC on. Now the layout of this case in general is great, and I do like the fact that the motherboard standoffs are pre-installed in the case, so this is just to save you maybe 1 or 2 minutes building a new PC. Now furthermore, moving on to the power supply, this does mount in the front of the case versus the back traditionally, and does support rather the small form factor power supplies or full size ATX power supplies. However, larger ATX power supplies and the majority of modular ones won't fit in, just like the Corsair RM850 say for example. Now just like the fact it won't fit in say the Cooler Master Elite 120 mini ITX case that I look at, I did actually take a look at a couple of months ago. Now there is a power supply cable for this case actually included in the case. So there's a cable which does route all the way to the back so that you can connect up the power via the wall that way. And this is just instead of having a power cable sticking out the front of your case, if you know what I mean. Now this cable is neatly cable tied up, and as you can see the footage, it does go all the way back and it is kind of cable tied up to the case. So it's it's very good to see that this has been taken care of. Now as for storage options, this case is limited by its small size, however can still support both an SSD and hard drive, or 2 SSDs or 2 hard drives. Sharkoon C can additionally mount a 2.5-inch SSD where the 80mm rear grill is for a fan. However, I would personally keep that spot for the installation of a fan, or just kind of for passive cooling. Now lastly, this is what the case looks like in both possible orientations, with the rubber feet stuck onto the case both in the horizontal and the vertical mode. Now there is also quite a big gap between the bottom surface and the case, since these feet are pretty thick, which I do like that, and I really do like the flexibility of having the case rather horizontally or vertically. Both seem to look pretty nice, and I found that having the case placed vertically won't really hinder the airflow to the case, as there's no actual fan mounts on so the left or the right hand side of the case. The fans can only be installed at the top and at the back. Now overall, I do think Sharkoon have done a very nice job with this case, and would have no kind of problems recommending it to you guys at the price point that you can currently find at. Now the rubber feet are great, storage options are kind of okay, for the size of the case, and the fact that the case does come with USB 3.0 is really good. I'm kind of sick of seeing cases with USB 2, and that's USB 3 is kind of the future, even though now we are seeing motherboards from say manufacturers like Asus that have USB 3.1. Now I haven't had time to build in this case, but I might make a future video on me moving my secondary mini ITX editing / gaming rig into this case to see how it affects the airflow, and can I compare it to the Cooler Master Elite 120 mini ITX case that my mini ITX editing / gaming rig is currently in. So you guys let me know what you think about that idea. Now as for negative points for the case, I really can't fan any, and I could have a go at the fact you only get one fan, or the fact that the front of the case does kind of look and feel a little bit plasticky. But if Sharkoon did change these, it would increase the price of the case, and I think it's great, a really good case for the money that you're paying. Anyhow, that's kind of it for now, and I hope you've enjoyed this detailed review of the case from Sharkoon. Anyhow, let's roll the outro. So guys, that's been the Sharkoon C10 case, from my first kind of initial examinations, and just taking you guys around the case. It's a pretty good damn case, and the construction internally is pretty damn good, and you guys will be able to build a relatively small PC inside this case. It isn't the largest mini ITX cases, but for you guys looking for a really small ITX computer case, this is probably going to be one of the ones to go for. Build quality is nice, as I've said, and I do like the incredibly thick rubber feet that you do get with this case, to stop stuff like vibration. So if you guys wanted to use this in say living room, is pretty damn good, and Sharkoon have definitely thought about this with features like USB 3, and also the fact that you can fit a full-size power supply in here. Is very good for the money, and that's kind of why I would recommend it today. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Goodbye.